Okay, I'll do something slightly different today. So, this is going to be more of like a podcasty kind of thing rather than a video, just because I have so many views on this subject that I didn't want to edit it or anything. I just want to just completely like spew out what I have to say on this. I have made videos in the past about Doctor Who and what's happening to Doctor Who and that kind of thing. But now I feel like we're in a very, very disastrous situation in terms of the direction the show is going in. And I don't want anything to be edited. I just want to spew out to you my thoughts and let it just like come out my mouth, so you guys can take it for what it is. I did actually make a video on this, which I was going to edit, then I thought, no, this is too serious. This is Doctor Who. I need to give this like, I can't be editing this down. I need to give my full views and I need to put my heart and soul into this, you know. I can't strip it down. I just need to put it out there. So basically, what is happening to Doctor Who? It's a big question, something that a lot of fans, a lot of critics are asking themselves, because let's be real now. It is a travesty. I'm sorry, but it is a travesty. I've been a fan of the show ever since it came back in 2005 when it was revived. To be honest, I wasn't really a fan of the classic series. I've never even seen the classic series. I just jumped on board with the new series when it got revived back in 2005. And you can say what you like about Stephen Moffat, but there was still some pretty decent episodes in Moffat's run. Moffat is a great writer. He has really, really intriguing. They may not make sense all the time, but at least they're intriguing. At least he tries to, he tries to do something crazy. He tries to do something out there. And whenever you're watching a Stephen Moffat episode or just watching a Stephen Moffat series, you knew that there was like a surprise to come, or you never knew what to expect really. But with this series 11, it's just bland, and that's not even like including all the political correctness stuff they're showing in our face. It's just bland. The stories are bland. The characters are bland. The acting is also pretty damn awful. Okay, let me get my thoughts into. Let me try and put my thoughts in some logical order. So first of all, let's talk about the stories, because that's like the most important thing. The stories being told. I was a huge fan of Russell T Davies' era. I think every series that Russell T Davies did just got better and better, to be honest. I thought Series 1 was great. I thought Series 2 was better than Series 1. I thought Series 3 was better than Series 2. And I thought Series 4 was better than Series 3. So it just kept on getting better and better. And still within each series, they had like some really, really good episodes. And it's not even episodes written by Russell T Davies. They're episodes written by other people that are like really, really good. And let's little bit around the fact that Chris Chibnall's been writing for Doctor Who for like quite a while now. He was writing back in Russell T Davies' days. And when Stephen Moffat got the job, it was like, okay, fine, he's written some of the best episodes in Doctor Who. But then when you look at Chris Chibnall and the episodes he has written, they're just not that great. Like, in terms of a Doctor Who episode, they're just not that good anyway. I would have rather given it to Toby Whithouse or Mark Gatiss or Paul Cornell. I think he's like the unsung hero of Doctor Who, because he wrote 2 of the best episodes we've had since 2005 revival. Anyone but him. But I think coming off the back of Broadchurch and the success that had, I do understand why the BBC went with him. Like, it makes sense. And I was a huge fan of Broadchurch. I love Broadchurch. But Broadchurch isn't Doctor Who. Only because you're a good showrunner for Broadchurch doesn't mean you're going to be a great showrunner for Doctor Who. Broadchurch is all about realism, getting down to those like gritty subject matters. Of course, Doctor Who does that too, but it needs to be a sense of like adventure, a sense of something fantastical, a sense of escapism that we look for when we watch episodes of Doctor Who. And Chris Chibnall just doesn't give us that. When I watched the first episode, I didn't have high hopes. To be honest with you, I was like, I'm just gonna watch this for what it is. I'm not gonna make any judgments until I've seen it. And I can say that the first episode, it was okay. Like, I was like, okay, it's the first episode. I'll give it a chance, and it was fine. I felt the whole woman who fell to earth thing. Could be the Doctor, could be Ryan's grandmother. I thought that was a bit, corny, but I think it was fine. I think Jodie Whittaker did a good job. I thought the villain was okay. And then we got to episode 2, and I actually kind of liked episode 2. I felt the whole, even though you can kind of see like the TARDIS being the Ghost Monument, you can see that coming. I thought that was like a nice kind of twist that Christian put in there. Of course, the whole idea of like a space race is kind of like meh, but in terms of that episode, and I think the cinematography as well kind of like made me love the episode. I thought the special effects actually in the episode were pretty decent. So after the episode, I was like, okay, I can get on board with this. But then every episode since then, until like Kablam, has just been a travesty. Like, I know people were being like Rosa. Okay, it was great that they were tackling such an important subject, but it didn't seem like a Doctor Who episode. It just seemed like a drama. The Doctor seemed like any side character. Like, the Doctor didn't even need to be there, really. And the villain was awful. And that's another thing about this series, actually. The villains have just been bloody awful. I mean, the Pating, come on. I understand that Chris Chibnall wants to tell new stories, make new villains. But if you're going to make new villains, at least make them good. At least make them engaging. Stephen Moffat, for example. He made Weeping Angels. Great. He made the Vashta Nerada. Great. He made the Clockwork Droids. Great. All really, really good, iconic villains. And the stories that he told that introduced the villains were all great. I mean, Go in the Fireplace, Blink, Science in the Library, and Forest of the Dead. All fantastic episodes. So going into Stephen Moffat's run, you could know that he was going to bring us some like decent villains. Even the Silence, I thought the Silence was a great villain. But this series, the villains have just paled in comparison. Like, they've just been awful. They haven't been menacing. They haven't been villainous. They haven't been clever. They haven't been intriguing. They've just been not that great. And I think the villain in, I can't remember his name because it's so bad, but the villain in Rosa was just like the epitome of how bad these villains are. But yeah, like I was saying, like, all these episodes have been bad up until Kablam, because I felt like Kablam felt, and a lot of people agree with me on this, like, it felt more like a traditional Doctor Who episode, and I felt like it did have its flaws, I'm not gonna lie, it did have its flaws. When you compare it to like Doctor Who of old, it doesn't even compare, like, it's not on that level, but in terms of this series, it really did stand out. So all in all, I think the stories they just lack substance. Not great at all. Now let's move on to the Doctor herself. Okay, I'm not sexist, but when I heard that they were going to cast a female Doctor, or people were calling for a female Doctor, I wasn't excited. I can't lie to you, this wasn't like, I don't think, I'm all about equality, equal rights, all that good stuff. But the Doctor didn't need to become a female for any particular reason. I mean, it's great to, like, change things up and, kind of like show the progressiveness of the show. But I don't, like, it would have been wrong to cast a female just for the sake of casting a female. And I think that's what the BBC did. They saw a lot of people calling for it. In Moffat's run, he showed that, obviously, with the Master, that time was kind of regenerating to females. So I thought it had to have happened sooner or later. So yeah, it happened, and I was like, okay, fine, it's happened. Like, I'm not gonna, like, it is what it is. And when I found out Jodie Whittaker was taking the role, I was like, okay, I can get on board with that. She was good in Broadchurch. Her and Chibnall know each other pretty well, so this could work. And her performance, like, don't get me wrong, I think like a lot of people are being a bit harsh on Jodie Whittaker, because first of all, being a Doctor isn't an easy job. It isn't an easy role to take for any actor, no matter how big you are. So for Jodie Whittaker to come in and take the role, and let's be serious, like, Jodie Whittaker is a good actor, but with Peter Capaldi, he's like an established, well-known actor. Jodie Whittaker just isn't on that level yet. So her taking this role would have been like a huge decision for the BBC, a huge decision for her. And I felt like Chris Chibnall played it very, very safe, because obviously he knew Jodie Whittaker. He's worked with her before. He knows her. So I think he just felt like, okay, I want a woman Doctor. I know Jodie Whittaker. I know she can act. I'm gonna approach her for this role. And I can understand that, to be honest. Like, Christian was coming to a new role as Doctor Who showrunner. It's a big role. He wants people on board that he can trust, people that he knows. So of course he's going to go to an actress that he knows and he knows that can act. But that doesn't mean that she's going to be a good Doctor. Because one thing about every Doctor up until now, they've all been fans of the show. They've all loved the show. You can tell that. You can see that through their performances. Jodie Whittaker, I don't feel like is a fan of Doctor Who. I may be wrong on that. I'm just making assumptions here. I could be wrong. She could be a huge fan of the show, but I don't think she is. And her performances are fine. But first of all, one thing I hate about the series right now is that there's a lot of exposition. There's a lot of the Doctor explaining things. And one thing that really bugs me as well is, you know, those moments when the Doctor's like, "I'm the Doctor," and you can like feel it like in your bones, like in your soul. You're like, "Wow, yeah, he's the Doctor." When Jodie Whittaker says it, I don't feel it. You know, it doesn't shake me to my core like when Peter Capaldi said it, or when Matt Smith said it, or when David Tennant said it, or when Christopher Eccleston said it. You know, it doesn't hold that same gravitas. And I don't think that's because she's a female. I really don't think that she's a female. That's because she's a female. I just think that happens because she doesn't hold the same weight and the same presence as those actors do. But also, she hasn't been helped with any of the writing. The writing is just... we'll get on... no. The writing is just... I can't even explain to you. I'm a writer myself. Like, I took writing... I got a degree in like script writing, literally. I've written short films and stuff. I honestly believe, like, I'm not just saying this, I honestly believe I could write a better episode of Doctor Who right now. I can't say I could write a great episode for Series 1, Series 2, Series 3, Series 4, but with the show, the state it's in now, I think I could probably write a better episode than all the episodes of this series so far. And I'm not just saying that, I honestly do believe that. I would love to try. If Christian, if you're listening to this, then give me a call up and we can talk about it. But yeah, now let's get on to the companions. I hate the companions. Simple. I don't hate them individually as characters. I hate the idea that there are 3 companions with the Doctor. If you're telling stories that utilize the companions to their full potentials, their full abilities, then fine. But these stories, honestly, if I was writing for Doctor Who and I had to accommodate 3 companions, it would just be too much for me. You know, it would just be like, I can't. And you've seen it in some stories, like where they've just needed to like get rid of a few characters, or like the characters are hardly telling anything, just because there's too many of them. Like there's so much story to tell. You've got the Doctor, you've got the characters that are coming in for like guest appearances just for the episode. Then you've got the companions. There's a lot of characters you need to like give backstories, give motivation in for every single story in such a small space of time. Like each episode of Doctor Who is like only 15 minutes long, and it's just too much. And I also miss the rapport and the relationship the Doctor used to build up with like just one companion. I don't feel like the Doctor has a special relationship with any of the 3 companions. I still feel like it's just the Doctor and then these 3 humans just following around. You know, there's not really any connection there. I don't think Ryan can act well. I don't think Tosin Carr's a particularly good actor. I'm sorry, I don't think he is. And I also learned that the accent he does in the show isn't his native accent, which kind of confuses me. I think Graham is fine. Bradley Walsh can act. But knowing Bradley Walsh, because of in Coronation Street, he does the chase. Seeing his face in Doctor Who just kind of takes me out. You know, I don't know why they casted him. I think that was very, very weird casting. I think if you're looking to get new writers, if you're looking for young talent, why did you cast like such a known face? Especially Bradley Walsh, like his face is so known. Like you see him, you just know it's Bradley Walsh, and like putting him into the Doctor universe, I don't think it works for me. To be honest though, I think Yaz, okay, a lot of people don't like Yaz, but I think Yaz could be a really, really good companion if it was just Yaz and the Doctor. I think that could work. I think that could work better than the Doctor and Graham or the Doctor and Ryan. I think Yaz and the Doctor could really, really work. Yaz kind of gives me she kind of gives me a bit of a Clara vibe, a bit of a Clara vibe. And I loved Clara. I think she was my second favourite companion. A lot of people will hate me for saying that, but she really was. And I think Yaz's backstory as like a policeman and she's shown some like real empathy, and like you've gotten some backstory with her family and that kind of thing. I think she could really excel as a companion. Anyway, moving to the next topic, something that I'm actually really, really passionate about, and I didn't realize how passionate I was about it until now, but the music. Okay, I've been a fan of Murray Gold ever since the beginning. Like, every single series, there's been like one piece of music I've just absolutely loved, and like you just remember it. Like, there's some pieces of music that's so iconic, and you just love them, and the music kind of acts like its own character almost in Doctor Who. This series, I can't remember one piece of music that's been in the series. The music is so subtle now. It's actually, I just hate it so much. I will say though, I will give the new composer props. The theme song right now, I think it's good. The theme tune, I think he did a great job of blending like new and old and like making it sound like nostalgia, but also making it sound fresh. I think the new theme tune is really, really good, and I think it's much better than when Stephen Moffat changed it in his first series. I think it's much better than that. But the music in the show, it doesn't give me much hope, you know. I can't see this composer, you know, banging out Shepherd's Boy, or banging out This Is Gallifrey, or banging out This Is the Doctor, you know. I can't see him coming up with pieces of music that iconic. And I really, really miss that. Like, Doctor Who, the music, like, if you go back and watch Rusty Davies' stuff, or even Stephen Moffat stuff, like, the music just makes the show. If you try and watch it without the music, it just wouldn't be the same, and the music just completely, like, it just ups the show to another level, and I don't think the music this series is doing that, unfortunately. And it's a real shame, because the music is like one thing I really, really loved about the series. But yeah, now there's talk of Chris Chibnall and Jodie Whittaker maybe leaving after series 12, which I would be like completely happy with. One thing I forgot to mention about the villains, actually. I get that Chris Chibnall wanted to bring in new villains. I get that. But I still think I think he's done himself a disservice by not introducing some old villains. Even if you're introducing old villains along new villains, like, you can do that. But completely scrapping any classic villain, I think, was a huge, huge, huge mistake. Even Moffat in his first run, he literally brought back every single villain for like the finale episodes, which I thought was great. But even within this series, he had the Daleks coming back. To not even have a mention or even like a glimpse of a single Dalek, a single Sontaran, a single Cyberman, like anything like that, I think a huge misstep by Chris Chibnall. Because like, coming into this new role, you want to keep people on board. You want to make people know that it's still the same Doctor Who that they're watching. And if you're going to completely scrap the villains that we know and love, then I don't know. I don't think that was the right call. But yeah, looking back now, we're at the penultimate episode, I think, now, and it doesn't feel like the series has hit its stride yet. It really doesn't, and I really don't have much hope for the future. And now the scrapped Doctor Who Christmas episodes, like, fine, but why? I mean, I never watched the Doctor Who on Christmas Day anyway, just because I've always been like too busy, so it doesn't really affect me that much. But there's also, like, got a good feeling knowing that Doctor Who was on Christmas Day, and like seeing the Doctor around Christmas time was like always nice. And now having it on New Year's Day, I don't know, it's not gonna have the same effect for me. But yeah, Chris Chibnall and Jodie Whittaker may be leaving at the end of series 12, which I'm all for. Like, they can leave. I wanted to give it a chance. I have, and I don't like it. I don't like Jodie Whittaker in the roles of Doctor. I don't like Chris Chibnall as showrunner, and I really don't have much hope for the future of the show. I don't want it to die. I love Doctor Who. I want it to continue, and I think any new showrunner coming in, if you just used any Russ T Davies series as a blueprint for what you're gonna do, then you're gonna make 75% of the fan base happy. Honestly, you can come in, you can emulate, not copy, but you can kind of emulate something that Russ T Davies did back in his era, and fans will love you for that. I mean, like Star Wars did it when it came back with The Force Awakens. That whole film was just basically a rehash of the first Star Wars film, and people loved it. New showrunner, if you're coming in, just use it as a blueprint, because people love the Russ T Davies era. People are telling you online that they love the Russ T Davies era. It's not hard just to try and recreate that magic, or like just use it as a blueprint going forward. And the one thing I knew we were in for trouble, I knew that we were in for a bad time, was when Chris Chibnall said he wanted to scrap the season-long story arcs. Why? The season-long story arcs is what makes Doctor Who. It's what keeps people engaged. What makes people want to keep watching. What links the story together, and then when you like see those little hints like peppered throughout the whole series, and you get a whole conclusion at the end, like that's what makes it. And that's the one thing that really made me fall in love with Doctor Who. I mean, the Bad Wolf story arc, the Harold Saxon story arc, the Missing Planet story arc, the Cracks in the Wall story arc, they were all great, and I loved them so much, and like I thought the payoff for all of them were really, really good. The one thing that made me love series, I know people hate on series 6, but the one thing that made me love series 6 was the way it started, like the Doctor dying. I mean, like that was amazing. And I don't think that sense of creativity is really, we're not really getting out of this series. And I think I don't have high hopes for the last episode, because what could happen in the last episode? Like anything that happens, it doesn't feel like we've been leading up to something. It doesn't feel like we're gonna get a huge payoff for something, you know. So I'm not really anticipating it that much. I think it's gonna be like another episode, but nothing's gonna happen. Nothing of significance is gonna happen in that last episode. And then when it end with a series that's just like forgettable, you know. Like even with series 9 and series 10, I know people hate on them. We had some pretty big moments, and I don't feel we're gonna get that with series 11, unfortunately. So yeah, this is just my thoughts on Doctor Who. I hope you enjoyed the whole podcasty kind of thing. This is actually like, it takes a bit of strain on me, because I don't have to, you know, set my camera up and put it into the and then put it in editing and then edit it, and then for this I can just like put it out there. And I think for a subject matter like this, I'm completely happy to do that. But when I do like more vloggy kind of things, and I'll get back to the camera and that kind of thing. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. If you've made it this far in the video, then thank you for listening to me. I know I can ramble on a bit, and I get, you know, a bit entangled in my words, but thank you for listening. Let me know what your thoughts are about the whole series below. But yeah, if you want to like, if you want to subscribe, and peace.